We're back with tip number 4 of the 7 things successful agents do differently. And tip number 4 is they recognize the different stages of real estate business growth. Now, you probably never expected to have to understand business growth, think strategy, where your business is, where you want it to go, how you expected to get there when you got your real estate license. The good news is that we're going to help you right now so that you can have the best real estate business and career possible as you understand the different stages of business growth. Now, with that being said, not everyone aspires to have or to reach the CEO level that we're going to talk about. Not everyone wants to do 72 transactions a year. Some people are comfortable doing 24. You may even be okay in the 0 to 12. So just because we're talking about some ideas here does not mean that there's anything wrong with what you're doing or your plans, but you must know what your plans are and how you're going to execute them. Now, the model that we're going to talk about today also has 5 stages of growth. There are some, such as Gary Keller and Dave Jenks in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, which I think is a fantastic resource when you're talking about building, an outline or a plan for your real estate business. I think it's fantastic. They have 7 different levels, 7 different stages, but it's all tomato, tomato, potato, potato, up to you, but the principles and the foundation is the same. So what are the 5 stages of real estate business growth? The first is going to be ideas. Then we have organization, assistant, team, and CEO. Now we're going to talk about each stage. First, primarily based on the number of transaction sides per year. And remember, these are only guidelines. These are not set in stone, but more than likely you'll be able to identify with a stage based on the number of transaction sides. So as I read these, let's see where you currently fall in and see where you want to go. And then we'll identify the bridge to help you get from stage 1 to 2 to 3 and so on. So stage 1, the idea stage, happens between 0 and 12 transaction sides per year. And this is where most real estate agents find themselves. The organization stage is between 12 and 36 transaction sides. Assistant stage is from 36 to 72. Then we have the team stage from 72 transaction sides to 150 transaction sides a year. And then the CEO stage is 150 transaction sides plus. Now, if you heard stage number 3 as the assistant stage, and that is 36 to 72 transaction sides, and you said, Neil, hold on, I've done no deals and I have an assistant. I'm not telling you you're wrong. I'm just saying that based on the opinion and the guidance from the experts and the most successful agents, it may be something that you go back and reevaluate just so that you set your business up for success in the future. So let's talk about the idea stage. What is it and why are so many agents in this stage currently? It is because they work hard trying to find new business, but often their business comes in cycles. So think of it as a wave going like that. So as they are prospecting and lead generating, they are not closing any deals. But then when they close deals, at the top, they stop prospecting, which means what? The funnel is empty and then it fills back up again. They start closing deals. So it's very difficult in order to predict or measure where the future business is going to come from. Just knowing that information isn't enough. You need to know, what do I do to move from the idea stage to the organization stage? Here is the bridge. So better organization is the key, so that the daily steps of the business can be implemented on a regular basis. And you should know that you should be focusing on organization. Once you hit about 1 transaction side a month on average, once you're doing closing a deal a month, that's when mentally the shift should or could, because I don't like telling people what they should do, could go from, all right, let me stop at the idea stage to now organizing the processes and procedures so that my business can become more steady and stable. As agents progress their business to this stage, now we're now talking about the organization stage, they are learning to be better managers of their time and resources. They have identified consistent marketing plans and are consistently working to create systems. It is important right now that you document everything when it comes to creating your systems, your plans, and your procedures, because stage 3, the assistant stage, can be the stage that either makes or breaks your business. A lot of times we'll find that's when people falter and go backwards, but it's because they didn't do the proper steps and didn't take the proper processes or goals, tasks during the organizational stage that's needed. The issue with success in stage 2 is that one agent can only do so much work. Regardless of the systems and the organization in place, it then becomes necessary to move to stage 3 and to hire an assistant. As we stated, hire an assistant to help get tasks and duties complete to free the agent to spend more time generating new business. This should happen when you are closing on average 3 transaction sides per month. Now, the assistant stage. This is where most of us want to be, but we are ill prepared if and when we do reach this point. Why? Because we didn't do our due diligence during the organization stage. We don't have a set or a manual of core processes and procedures to have the assistant take over. So oftentimes when we get to the assistant stage, we don't know what needs to be done or how it should be done. Having an assistant is both exciting and challenging. It is important to properly train and direct an assistant, which will take time. Great assistants are difficult to find, and here's the part I want you to listen to. And quickly look for more rewarding work if they are not finding it with their current position. So if you have an assistant, hopefully you're finding them ways to have rewarding work, and if not, expect them to leave. Now, great assistants are hard to find. This is coming from someone who was a great assistant for 8 years until I opened my own brokerage, and then I found out how hard it was to find someone as awesome as I am, but I was able to do so. So what is the bridge that's going to help you get from the assistant stage into the team stage? And here it is. You need specialized help that can do things an unlicensed assistant cannot do. And this should help the agent free up time to focus on those IPAs and DPAs. What's an IPA? It is not a beer. It's an income producing activity, or the DPA is dollar producing activity. Those are the IPAs and DPAs you'll often hear me talk about. Now, in that last statement, I did mention unlicensed assistant. It is believed, through the coaches, teachers, the top real estate professionals, they believe that first hire, that first assistant should be an unlicensed assistant, someone who's going to take all of the busy work off of your plate so that you could come back and do those dollar productive activities. So that's a question for you to answer in your business if you should have a licensed assistant, unlicensed assistant. But the majority of the time, what we're diving into is finding a buyer specialist or a buyer agent even before we have someone on the back end to take that paperwork and to take that load off of our plate. So if that's you, just go back, think for a moment, get the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. I don't get any royalties off of them, but I should, as much as I suggest it to everyone that I come in contact with, so that you can see the proper way that you could, should, might not build your real estate business. Stage 4 is the team stage. since about 2014, but NAR, the National Association of Realtors, says that in 2016, since 2016, we've seen a spike in real estate teams, and we think of the mega teams out there, but teams can be formed in all different ways. But what is the purpose of a team? I'm going to tell you right now. Hiring specialized help such as a buyer's agent, a seller's agent, or a closing agent allows the business to continue to grow. The first specialized hire, this is after the assistant is in place. The first specialized hire is typically a buyer's agent. This allows the business owner or the team leader, as we call, or the lead agent, rainmaker, all different lingo, same person. This allows the business owner to focus more on listings. Adding a closing agent can reduce the time spent on inspections, termite coordination, and title company communication, etc. Now, right now, I do want to make a note. In today's time, it can be slightly different when it comes to, it said a closing agent or a closing manager is a little bit different now because you have companies such as Sure to Close or other transaction managers that can do the work on a per transaction basis, and they only get paid if the transaction closes. So that's one caveat that we're seeing right now that has helped agents free up some time. And the best thing is that they aren't employees, they are subcontractors or independent contractors that work for you per task or per transaction, so it's not as much risk or work or risk financially for you, since, for instance, Sure to Close only gets paid when the transaction closes. But here it talks about the buyer agents, seller specialists, closing agents. That's up to you to decide who you want your first specialized hire to be. Now, most people believe, as myself, in the 3 L's, the listing, leads, and leverage model. So they want to focus and specialize on the listing side of the business or working with sellers. That's why, as the book said, the first specialized hire is often a buyer's agent, a buyer specialist, to take those surplus leads. But once again, I want to remind you, this is after that assistant is in place to do the paperwork, to put the listings into the MLS, and to make sure that the clients are well cared for and taken care of. So what's the bridge from stage 4, the team phase, to the CEO phase? As a number of people on the team increase, there becomes a need for a leader to guide and train each of the team members while running the business as a true oversight manager. This may happen once the agent's team is closing an average of 12 transactions per month. So we're really talking about people who are focused on closing a lot of transactions, and now the CEO is no longer working on the day-to-day the transactions. They rarely meet with clients. They may not be involved in transactions or the deals themselves. Oftentimes, the CEO at stage 5 is looking for new business opportunities. They're looking for new markets to go into, looking for new technologies to bring into the business. So that is something that happens at this stage. So as a CEO, the agent is now running a business rather than working their business. Much of the time is spent on conflict resolution, hiring new assistants, bringing in new team members, education, and guidance. The CEO is looking for new opportunities and is the executive of the business. Now, some people may say, well, Neil, I love selling. I don't want to get to the CEO stage. Well, you may be doing 150 transactions a year. You may love selling and buying, but some people who love doing that, they hire a CEO to run the business, to handle the conflict resolution, to go out and look for to hire new assistants or bring on new team members or to find new opportunities, new markets to go into, and they still love the day-to-day part of the business. So that's an opportunity for you as well. So we talked about the idea, organization, assistant, team, and CEO stages of the real estate business growth. Where you are, ask that question. Where you want to be, answer that question. and then make a plan to go from one to the next. That's going to do it for this video. Come back for video 5 as we talk about new secrets, that's not secrets, but 7 things that successful agents do differently. And if you haven't checked out the first 3 videos, make sure you do that in this channel right here, and also on the playlist. We have lots of information, lots of great training for you. I love you, in case you haven't heard it today, and if you want to hear it again, you can either rewind it 5 seconds, or I'll just tell you again, I love you. And until next time, don't be average, be world renowned. Peace.